The Dancing House. This iconic building, located in the middle of the historical buildings along the east bank of the Vltava River, is an example of the deconstructivist style and houses the offices of the Dutch insurance company. It was built by Frank Gehry and Vlado Milunic between 1994 and 1996 on a corner of Vreslova Street and Rašinovo nábřeží. The history of Dancing House is closely connected to the story of the Velvet Revolution. The design phase reaches back a long way. In 1986, the author and future president Václav Havel awarded Milunic the contract to remodel the neighboring house on the banks of the Vltava, where both parties lived. That house was originally built by ancestor of Havel's, whose name he shared. The site of the Gehry building had stood empty since 1960, after the remains of neo-Renaissance building were removed that had previously been located on the site until its destruction by an American bomb in 1945. In 1990, Milunic designed the first plans for the corner house, which would later become Ginger and Fred. Havel imagined cultural purpose for the project, and Milunic desired to translate the positive atmosphere into architecture. The plans themselves show two opposite volumes, one static in form and the other dynamic. In 1992, a Dutch insurance company took over the site and gave Milunic the task of finding a well-known co-architect. The Frenchman Nivelle declined the offer, but Gehry accepted and began working together with Milunic. A corner building was created, one side of which is comprised entirely of glass and metal, while the other side presents a plastered concrete face to the river. This side features upright windows, a style feature that had characterized the buildings in the area until the turn of the century. The wall is embossed with meandering wavy lines, and the windows project slightly from the wall and appear almost to bounce up and down along the waving lines. Some of the windows are also fitted upside down. This is shown by the arrangement of the window crossbars. The density of this ornamentation matches that of the neighboring house. Two sides of the respective towers are supported by columns and create the actual corner, leaving the ground free to serve as a forecourt. The upper half of the left glazed tower appears to lean against the right tower, a design strategy that creates views in the direction of the river. The skirt spreads out beneath the waist of the building. The right tower is made of plastered concrete and becomes wider as the tower increases in height. This emphasized by the number of windows that project out away from the line of the building. This massive structure on one leg, while the glass construction gives the impression of movement, balanced on slim curving pillars. The nickname Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire, or often nowadays referred as to Dancing House, is a play of this pas de deux. The more filigreed Ginger on the nimble legs is supported by a more stable Fred. Her skirt swings, following the movement, while her arm is draped around him. The dome-like sculpture of metal and wire mesh on the roof on the concrete tower is vaguely reminiscent of the sphere of top of Havel's house and is part of the tradition of having a dome on top of a corner of building, similarly to the crown of the Coruna Insurance building at the Wenceslas Square. Built on one of just 3 areas in the inner city where modern architecture is permitted, the architects have succeeded in creating a new building appropriate to the urban and stylistic context. The Dancing House was awarded Design of the Year in 1996 by the American Time magazine.